not loved. My objective here is to discuss my relationship with my girlfriend and the differences we have regarding boundaries, ethics, and the drama that it creates. I'm currently going through a long divorce in a 20-year marriage. I've had my own place for a couple years now. The girlfriend is completely aware of all those details for the most part, so I try to keep her in the loop. I also try to keep the two sides away from each other if all possible. This was advised by my lawyer, which makes sense. I will say that GF is getting impatient with the proceedings and keeping her in the dark about our relationship with my family, but the large value of our asset division and such could possibly affect the outcome. So I try to proceed with as much caution as possible there. I'd rather not get into the marriage drama and try to keep this topic on the girlfriend if all possible. I'll give a little synopsis below so I don't get bashed too hard. My STBXW was in an affair with her boss, so I started this relationship out of frustration and thought it was justified under the circumstance. So yes, my wife and I were both having affairs and kind of looked away at it. I did expose hers a few months after finding out he was married, but it didn't do a lot of good. She traveled a lot and there was no way to breach any phones or computers, based on the security of her industry. So, once I was told she was in the affair, I could only monitor it from intuition. All the signs were there: strange new panties, laser hair removal on the kitty, I'm not happy, not physical. So, I just said screw it, I'm doing this. The GF and I met through her business about 7 years ago. That was about a year after the STBX started her affair, and I was completely upfront about what I was dealing with regarding my wife. She supported my decision and we became friends with benefits pretty soon after. We would travel some, do other things together, make the best love possible, and go on our way. Over the years we became closer and closer, and she always knew my divorce would happen. We defiantly weren't exclusive during those years, which was fine. Once I officially told the wife I'm out, it's been so. That's when you get to know someone even better, right? All the little things about someone's personality, their friends, living together on occasion, and so on. The GF is easily the best lover I've ever experienced, hands down. She's almost never turned me down on the love-making side, and understands how much that means to me within our relationship. Her effort is amazing, and that is like a drug to me, and I'm addicted. I've done everything possible to support her during this time, and our financial differences are huge. She's completely aware that this next chapter, after my divorce, is final. Her life will change forever. She could easily retire and sit by the pool every day. Although I will never marry again, I'd be happy to do anything for her. I'm 47 and she is 35. So, here's one problem. The GF out of the gate had probably more guy friends than girlfriends. Most of these friends weren't really a threat, way older, way out of shape, but she has always been adamant about her choosing which friends she picks. She always claims that she's upfront with the guys regarding boundaries, and they're aware she's not interested in any physical element. The problem comes when they do break that element and she has to break off that relationship. It's happened a few times where a friend either comes clean that he has a physical desire or does something inappropriate, and she then has to dump them, which she does. At that point, I'm like, see, I told you, these guys all have this for the most part. She just never gets it. She continues to let these groomers into her friend zone, and the inevitable will eventually happen. Or the guy just falls away and loses interest. We've talked about this so many times and she just doesn't care about how it makes me feel. I've told her I won't continue to tolerate it, so we had some heated conversations about that. She just goes on about how she can friend anyone she wants and everyone is innocent until proven guilty. These conversations tend to get nowhere, and she knows it pisses me off, and she will then ramp up the physical time to get me happy again. She just tries to bury it and continue on, like I'm going to be okay with it. I honestly don't know if she is the groomer and needing this element of attention to feed her ego. The latest groomer is almost twice her age and married. She's becoming friends with both of them, but mostly texting him. Her play is that everyone is aware of everything and nobody is in the dark regarding the relationship. This guy asked her if he could stay at her place because he had an early flight the next day, which she said yes, and completely told me about him staying. He lives a few towns over and apparently didn't want to drive an hour in the morning or get a hotel room. We have each other's keys, so I snuck over super early that morning ready to drop a bomb, but everyone was in their appropriate place, so I snuck out. She came over that morning to my place and tried to talk about it. I just stood my ground and told her if she wants to act single then I will also. Boy, she didn't like that. Pause to her, she's not doing anything wrong and just wants to help a friend out, barf. Later that day she quickly wanted to come spend the night and me make her feel better, which is hard for me to resist. Although she still thinks she is innocent of any wrongdoing. So how much flexibility do I give her regarding these relationships? Her play is always that I'm still not officially divorced and she can proceed however she wants. Some of my friends are like, who cares, you get what you want out of the relationship, and these guys have no chance with her. Others say to just dump her ass and find someone with common relationship ethics. I truly love this girl and would love to keep her, but this seems to be a pattern that might never change. Am I just crazy to think this relationship could possibly work in the long run? Being how it started. This girl has these hot and cold streaks where she's super happy or depressed. She needs constant validation, and I assume these friends offer that up. I've always played it with the one foot out the door attitude, but it's moving into more serious partnership, but only by her stupid rules. Just confuses me that she is so stubborn that these relationships are worth me dumping her ass. Her take is that I shouldn't dump her for who she wants to make friends with. I am officially divorced. I'm not really sure that matters at this point based on the history that I've dealt with her. I guess the decision I have to make is to just end the relationship with her, because I can't really date and have her as my girlfriend. She's got a lot of crap at my house and really nowhere to move to without my financial help. All of her guy friends have come from her business, which will remain the same. It's not like it happens often, just something I've never dealt with. She really has no girlfriends that remain in her life. They just break it off, and to her it's never her fault. What I don't understand is, this girl is one flat tire away from not paying her bills. I don't want to say I'm some trophy catch, but being so stubborn to lose this over these groomers. I've told myself, when the cookie dries, what great qualities does this girl bring to the table? I struggle with also. We've always had passcodes and access to each other's phones, but on occasion she will deviate from that. She just seems to make these really common sense decisions wouldn't work with me. The cookie is definitely not dried up yet though, which is my kryptonite unfortunately. To me the financial thing is not a big deal. It's not like I'm paying for everything. If my GF needs that, I'm happy to help there. Nobody's getting pregnant, we're both fixed. I'm just not looking forward to having the conversation again and again regarding this stuff. It's been about a year since this happened. The next day I made her move her crap out, but we quickly hashed things out. We've had to talk about it and it's been quite a while. I was clear that we would be done if she crossed that line again. We will see, I suppose. Maybe I just need to cut her away from the GF thing and just date her on occasion. That could snap her head on straight pretty fast, I'm guessing. These groomers were all losers, in my mind. But the one foot out the door mentality needs to be figured out, which I'm leaning towards out. Looking over your shoulder isn't a good mindset. There hasn't really been anything lately. The groomers are all gone. They all just go away eventually. Assuming they didn't get what they wanted, I guess. I've been the one foot outdoor guy, never her. She's just been this way her whole life, I'm guessing. She just doesn't want to be told what to do. She's not the one that's going to leave. She doesn't waves get kicked out. She just doesn't understand common sense. I've dealt with this in a pretty supportive way. Remember I said moving forward into the next chapter. Since my separation we have been exclusive for sure, there's no doubting that. She just frustrates me on occasion with the friend zone thing. It's more about her stubbornness that this could creep back in. She's been a good girl since that all happened, so yes, that's positive. It's more about moving forward with the expectations and me following through if those are broken. I've always believed her regarding this with her intentions, but I don't trust the groomers. I've always been right in the end, they go away or fire her. She actually had this guy in the story above on speakerphone once, like she didn't care what he was going to say, that good right. At one point he was on this I miss you thing. It just shows that you don't know what the other side's true intentions are. I would never say that kind of crap. She just calls him emotional after, and she definitely didn't engage on the I miss you crap. This is old stuff really, I'll just struggle drilling this into her head forever. We're crazy in love and maybe I'm being a little too protective. Like I said, we have access to each other's devices and she has given me her phone many times, so looking through a text is not uncommon. We're extremely compatible in many ways, although social circles kind of spread out. The groomers are not that common, but it's happened a few times and they are in no way someone I'd see her with. It's more the principle of what that creates. I am divorced and we are exclusive. I will say it's been a lot of fun and both of us will always cherish the time we had. There's a chance it could be a roller coaster though, with her personality. We'll see where it goes. She would flip if I put an engagement ring on, but that's not really in the cards yet. I will say she's waited a long time and we're pretty happy together. I don't really want to cash out, but the thought has crossed my mind. She really is the one that will suffer in the end if we break up. I'm not sure what I've really got to lose other than the sorrow of the breakup and missing her for who knows how long. Another girl will gladly jump into her spot if that happens. Although I doubt the physical element would ever be topped by another GF, hard to say. The guy from the story above was like a 2-year client of hers, so it's not like some stranger. His wife was her client also and apparently didn't care about him sleeping on the floor. These orbiters are slime balls. I'll just have fun and hold my ground until it fizzles out. She's not any social media, doesn't drink or desire going to the bars or anything like that. She's really a loner, to be honest. When I say my foot's out the door, this is something that rests in my consciousness based on her past actions. It has nothing to do with how I treat her. She's pretty spoiled in every element I can think of. But that flexibility I once had is over. She would do a spiritual wedding, but she's not into the traditional thing. For me, just coming off a long divorce, the traditional thing isn't in the cards right now. So, to move her in full-time, absorb all her debt, share finances, things like that. Those are some big commitments with her past behavior. We're crazy about each other, so we got that going for each other. I'm just going to take baby steps and keep the relationship stable and see where it goes. I understand I just got to trust her to make better decisions moving forward. My comment: Your GF likes her life the way it is. She doesn't need to live with you, marry you, or pay her debts. She wants to be free to flirt with whomever and be friends with anybody she likes. You know where her boundary is and you have seen her cut off men who try to violate it. I don't think she's being unfaithful to you and enjoy the bonding with her. If all she wanted was a sugar daddy, there seems to be no shortage of volunteers. When you and her started this revenge affair for you, FWB was enough. She hasn't changed much in this regard. If you are okay with the status quo, stick around. If now that you are divorced you think you want something more serious, committed, she might not be your girl. But think about the addicting bonding you will be give up if you end things. Then make the best decision for you, but stop trying to change her. Story 2. My husband is a very sweet person. He does everything for me. He is not violent and he's great. We have been married for 1 year and together for 3. But yesterday we were talking and he said he thinks flirting with other women or a wife flirting with guys is not cheating. I said, how come? And he said that it is normal and people like to feel appreciated. So, I said, why would you ever want to feel appreciated by someone who's not your wife? And he said that he knows that when I dress up, I like that the guys check out on me. I actually don't mind if a guy is checking out on me, not in a creepy way, but this is not flirting. Then we were talking about something else and he said that there's a situation where man can hit woman. I was completely in shock. I asked what situation, and he said if the woman is threatening a man's life or if she hits the man first, it's okay for the man to push the woman away or slap back. I told him that if a woman hits a man first, the man should just leave and not hit back. Real man doesn't hit back. I am scared with this statements. Our marriage is great and we don't have issues at all. We get along, we are happy and our life is perfect. But after all what I heard, I am starting to regret to have married him. I think I am married to a trash now and I can't believe all these words came from him. I think there's no way a woman can hit man. I am totally against it and I never hit anyone and I even don't talk loud to my partner or anyone. But I do think men hitting women is worse because men are stronger than women, so it makes it worse. If a man looks at me, it's not my fault. It's not flirting. Flirting for me is talking and make little jokes and being interested, all in a flirting way. Complimenting a woman in a non-physical way is only being nice, not flirting. I don't interact with other men and have no interest on that. My husband said that because I went to the mall by myself last week all dressed up, but it's because I love dressing up for myself, not for any man. I don't know how my husband thought it was flirting. This is BS. 2 years later, I've been married for 3 years only, 4 together, and my husband has no interest in sleeping with me. We already talked about it so many times. I asked if he was gay and he said he's not. I asked if he is attracted to me and he said he is. We have no children and both of our bodies are still the same. I suggested bonding therapy, marriage counseling, going to lovers, dirty shops, watching videos, and he always says no, that we don't need that. And yet, we have slept together than once a month and it seems like it's okay with him. He got his testosterone levels checked and it is all normal. Besides the physical life, he's the best husband I could ask for. He's loving, cares for me, does anything for me actually, except improve our physical life. I caught myself thinking that I don't want to live like this forever and caught myself thinking of other guys. I don't know what to do. Please don't advise divorce out of the bat because I love him very much and the only issue is the bonding. Divorcing is not an option right now. In the future, maybe, but not right now. What do you think I should do? I am afraid of asking him for me to sleeping with other guys and offend him. And I don't want to cheat on him because even though he physically deserves being cheated on, he doesn't deserve being personally cheated on. I don't want to hurt his feeling, but I don't know for how long I can take this. We also have a good relationship. We talk, laugh, hug, cuddle. So yeah, I don't know what to do anymore. Half a year later, he's 36 and I am 28. Anyways, I'm not happy about us. We have talked so many times about these issues and nothing really gets resolved. I suggested couple therapy but he doesn't want it. I made this list of pros and cons. What are your views on it? Thinking about divorce does tempt me, but at the same time I am terrified because I live where I don't have anyone as family. The only people I know are his family and friends. I am making friends at college though. Cons: harasses me to drink alcohol, even though I told him several times that I don't like it. I don't have fun with his friends. I don't have real fun with him when traveling. Non-physical marriage, once every 2 months maybe. Want too many different things for life, including when to have kids. Very few interests in common. We don't really do any activities together. He doesn't communicate well, don't talk about things that are important. Pros: very good person. Supports me, financially and emotionally. Cheers for my success. I am in school getting an extremely hard degree. Has a huge heart. Treats me like a princess. Loves my family and helps them when they need. We have fun at home, laugh, cuddle and watch TV. So, my Ta and I have been flirting. But not explicitly. Today when I got my final papers, I said that I didn't want him to be my Ta anymore and we laughed. I didn't say the reason why, but I made sure it had nothing to do with his teaching skills. And he said he knew that but wasn't sure what I meant. We laughed and I left. Without saying it, I want to send him a message on Instagram saying, okay, so I had to look you up on Instagram and it ended up that it's too easy to find it. What I actually meant was that now that you are not my toy anymore, you can ask me out if you want to. If this makes you too uncomfortable, just pretend this never happened. Is that a good idea? We are friends, we hang out with the same people and exchange way too many looks. He's always doing something to get my attention and impress me. So, we went out, had a good time. My level of interest went down because he was my crush for 3 months, and now that I had what I wanted, seems like the urge calmed down a little. He mentioned several times during the date that we should do things together, like learn a language together. We are both trying to learn Italian, just a coincidence since we are both Italian descendants. He mentioned going kayaking, mentioned we should go out again this Wednesday, and I was receptive, but I don't really believe he will want to go out with me again. He said several times during the date that he was having a great time, but I don't know. Maybe the date went so well that I don't believe he really means everything he said. Firstly, because I was the one who asked him out first, and second, because I just don't believe this is happening. I never went out with a crush, and this all seems too bizarre to me. By the way, we kissed on the way home and he once again mentioned meeting again. After the date yesterday, he sent me a text saying he had a great time. But I still don't believe it though. I know I sound like a whiny baby. I haven't been on a first date for 6 years. I was married and I am 29 years old now, and this whole thing seems a little strange to me. If he doesn't ask me out, I will be okay with that, even though we will see each other every day when classes come back from lockdown thing and we are in the same group of friends. I will be okay because at least I got what I wanted and the crush feeling calmed down. But that would still be nice though if he asked me out, because I would understand I am not totally unworthy. Got out of a marriage that made me think like that. Update: I was going out with this guy for a month. We already knew each other from school and I had a crush on him, and then quarantine happened. He kept texting me every day and replying to every single one of my IG stories. Has been 2 weeks that we haven't seen each other. Today he posted a picture on IG with a music that talks about the one and only love, which obviously isn't for me. I know it's not for me because he added a line that says, "Where did you go?" And he knows exactly where I'm at. Doesn't make sense to be for me. The worst is that I like him very much and now I'm in pieces. I can't stop crying. It feels like my heart is going to explode. I find a huge lack of respect to keep texting me and pretending being interested and then post a song about someone else. Wow, I don't know if I text him who's the lucky lady or just disappear. Either way, I'm devastated. If I ask him and he says it's for someone else, can I text him this? I wish you would have told me you weren't feeling it. It was kind of hard to know because you kept in touch constantly, and it kind of sucks because I liked you. I wish you all the best though. My new boyfriend and I have been in a serious relationship for the past 10 days. During these 10 days we spent 4 days together. Like, 2 nights we slept at each other's house, and 1 day we went for a hike and another we just hung out at home. We usually only text randomly during the day. He initiates most of times. But few days ago he went to his parents' house to spend the week there, and 2 days ago I asked him to call me on the phone and he called me at night. That was our first phone call and that went well. 2 weeks later, people often says, when he's the right one it will work out. But is this true? I recently had to let a very special being to me go. He and I had a huge connection, his words, and I think we indeed had. Everything about us fit so well, from sense of humor and conversations to kiss and intimacy. I have never had something like this. It felt so right. I'm so scared I'll never find such a connection again. We had to go on separate ways because timing is so wrong. He's not doing internally well, and starting something during quarantine didn't work for us. It has been 4 days since we decided to end, and I keep thinking that I could have handled this differently in order not to let him go. And I keep thinking that maybe, when things are back to normal, we will start over. I feel so stupid I let someone that matched me in so many ways go. Do you believe that things will work out if they are meant to be, or maybe nothing is really meant to be and we actually need to work towards it in order to make it meant to be? Basically, he's depressed and finding out who he is. He's 21. And because of the lockdown, school is not open, so to save money he will move back to his parents for the summer. It's 3 hours away. I didn't break up. We mutually came to a conclusion that it was better for us to end here. But in the conversation, he suggested keep coming up to see me once every 2 weeks, and I said that wouldn't work for me because I knew that some weeks he would cancel and I would get all bummed out. Then he suggested giving a relationship a pause and pick things up in the fall, but I told him that wouldn't work because I was going to spend all these months expecting for the fall and maybe he wouldn't feel the same then. I feel like I rejected all his ideas and I regret. Having him coming to see me once in a while is better than not seeing him at all. Another thing, our majors are the same, so we have a lot of friends in common. I met a guy on Tinder. We didn't meet in person, only talked on Instagram, before my ex and I decided to be together. We were kind of flirting and only didn't meet because of social distancing. Ended up like this guy is one of my ex's friend and is friend with lots of my own friends. When my ex and I decided to be together, I let this Tinder guy know that I was in a relationship now. That's when we found out we both knew my ex, and he said it was all good. We kept talking like normal friends. Now that I broke up, his friend went on a full friend mode for me. He's being very supportive because he knows I'm having a hard time, and we text all day long every day since then. He even called me on the day of the breakup to try to help. We will meet for a walk next week. Do you think it's fishy or it's all good? I feel a bit weird because we actually met on Tinder, but now I feel like he's only someone else from our group of friends. I really like his support though. This is starting to look like a teen TV show. It could also be that he's also isolated and wants to connect with people, right? Quarantine does funny things to people. We haven't been flirting at all anymore, but we text all day long. And I'm letting this happen because I'm in no place to reject people from talking to me since I'm completely isolated. Am I being this naive? He is 21 and is dealing with depression. On Tuesday we met and he told me he's craving independency from his friends and want to find out who he is. He didn't want to let me go because he really liked me but told me he wasn't ready to fall in love. I told him that love comes with time anyway and he said I was right. He also asked me what I wanted for us if our lives were normal, and I said I wanted us to be just like a normal couple. Then he said that sounded beautiful and awesome, and then said it sounded awful at the same time because when he's with someone he kind of becomes that person a little and he's at a moment where he really wants to get to know himself more. Then he suggested those things in order for us to stay together, but at that moment I didn't see a reason to keep trying. I kind of regret now. I told him he could ask me out on a date in the fall if I was still single. Then he kissed me a last time and went home. I know people will tell me to get distracted. That's what they always say when you need to heal a heartbreak, but this is especially hard to do when you are isolated. It has been 3 weeks and I still hurt like it was the first. My heart is in pieces and I would never think my body could produce this many tears. I'm physically hurting from an emotional pain. He answered to my Instagram stories and we talked here and there, but it feels like he's gone. It feels like he died and I'm grieving. I won't block him because we didn't end because of fight. We only ended because time wasn't right. I love him very much and I don't know what to do to move on. I want to call him and text him, hear his voice, but I won't do it. I wish I could kiss him again and hug, see his face, his smile, smell him. He has such a good natural smell. This is the worst heartbreak I've ever felt and I don't know what to do to move forward. Some days ago, I literally threw up because I was crying. That's the level of pain I'm going through. I wonder if I'll ever find someone who connected with me to this level ever again. This pain is taking all my life away. A few months later, my ex and I were dating for a few months, but when the lockdown hit and the university told us that classes wouldn't be back until next year, he had to move back to his parents' house, which was 2 hours away. The last day he was at my house, he suggested for us to meet throughout the summer, but I told him no because I can't do the distance relationship thing. So, then we both started crying and talking, etc. He said that he wasn't ready to fall in love and that he was having tons of breakdowns, etc. So, then I told him to go take care of himself and his mental health. He said he would call me, and that he really liked me, and that we had a great connection. Then we kissed goodbye and he left. Anyway, after he left, I realized I really liked and missed him. So then, after a week, I sent him a text saying something like, "Hey, actually let's meet up throughout the summer. I also really like you." Then he answered that he thought we made a good decision for now, but we could talk about us again when we could actually be physically together. I didn't show him, but I went to a hole deeper than I've ever been. I was just so sad for so long. I missed every piece of him and I had so many breakdowns. It hurt more than anything I've ever experienced. We texted each other through the summer, kept in touch, and he said sorry a billion times for causing me such a grief, etc. The longest we spent without talking was 20 days during these 4 months into the breakup. Also, worth mentioning that he initiated contact more than I did. He also sent me a text last week saying good luck on my next school year and that if I needed any help from him, I shouldn't hesitate to ask. Same majors here, and that he owed me that much. So maybe he feels guilty for breaking my heart. I don't know. Anyway, when I was almost all moved on, he started mentioning, "I hope to see you when I'm in town." I never asked to see him, but for some reason he felt like saying it not once, but twice. And of course, my hopes went up just so it would crash again because I know he has been in town so many times and he never asked to see me. I don't understand why he would say something he doesn't mean. So, then I was thinking of sending him a text saying that he didn't need to say we had a great connection if he didn't mean to, or that he didn't need to say he really liked me when he clearly never did. That I had a hard time forgetting about him because he said so many nice things that made me so confused, and in reality, he never meant any of those things. Is that worth it doing so? I've been working in a place for the past 7 months and this job is temporary. It will end in less than 6 months for all of us. I met this guy who is a lead there. We all started working there at the same time and always thought he was interesting, but I never looked more into it because at that time I was emotionally unavailable. Fast forward to the last 2 weeks of December and now all healed up from a breakup. I started to notice him more and we started to share glances. One day I was in the kitchen and he offered to go all the way to another building only to get me a spoon. Another day we had a nice little conversation in the breakout room when we were alone, and after that we make eye contact all the time. He remembers things that we talked about 7 months ago when we first met. I noticed he softens his voice when talking to me, but he talks all differently with other people. He also remembers details about me that no one does. Sometimes when I'm not in my usual spot, I notice him looking for me around the room, and when he finds me, we make eye contact and he stops searching. Also, when he is explaining something to a group I am in, he only looks at me like if I was the only one in the group, even if he's friends with everyone there. But it could also all be in my head because I noticed he talks and is extroverted with everyone, except me. He treats me nice and starts conversation with me sometimes, and sometimes compliments me, but it's different. He's goofy with everyone, but when it comes to me, he is a bit more serious, which makes me think that he might not like me at all. Also, he starts way more conversations with everyone else. I decided to follow him on Instagram and he instantly followed me back. I wish I could know if he's interested. I don't want to ask him out because if he's not interested, then it will be awkward for the next 6 months of work ahead. But if he's interested, I want to make him talk to me more. What should I do? I think it's worth noting that, when I liked my ex-boyfriend, he said that he liked me but he would never ask me out because he thought I wasn't interested at all. Before we started dating, he and I would make a lot of eye contact also. He told me that I wasn't obvious at all. We only dated because I asked him out. I don't want this new guy to think I'm not interested, but I don't know how to be more obvious. I mean, I start conversation when I can and I followed him on Instagram. I don't know what else to do. Apparently, we came to a conclusion that he might possibly be interested. He's not my boss, he is a lead, but it's not that serious. I agree it could be taken as work harassment though. When you say more obvious, what do you mean? I literally don't know what to say or do, because I also don't want to scare him away. A few months later, I had a crush on this coworker since January, and we would flirt and text occasionally. He showed interest, but I thought he couldn't ask me out because he is my lead. He's not a supervisor, just a lead that has no influence on me at all. Anyway, I asked him out on a date 2 weeks ago and he said yes. The date was perfect. He's such a gentleman, showed a lot of interest, talked about doing things together, no red flags at all. We spent 5 hours together on that set, and it was nice and had a good flow because we already knew each other. Then on the following Tuesday he texted me and we started a conversation, and on Wednesday he asked me out. We went on another date on that Friday and it was even better. We spent 6 hours together and had a lot of fun. We did make out a lot, and when things were getting too hot, I told him that I wouldn't have slept together soon because bonding is a big deal to me and I would rather to get to know him better. He was very sweet and understanding about it. Then after that, we chatted a little bit at work here and there, nothing big. Then on Wednesday I invited him to our colleague's birthday party, that's happening today, and he said he didn't know if he could come but would let me know. Note the fact that the both of us already spent time with this group of friends. Then on Thursday night I got this text, "Hey, I just wanted to set a couple things straight between us. I do like hanging out with you, but I don't think that I'm in a place right now to be in a relationship. I know that how I may have acted might not seem that way, but I think it's better to be honest and tell you how I'm really feeling. Hope this isn't too sudden." Then I replied to him saying that I totally understood because we did only go out on 2 dates and we're still getting to know each other. So, I wasn't expecting to be in a relationship with him so soon. Then I proceeded to ask if he thinks we shouldn't hang out anymore or if he still wants to hang out but aren't ready for a relationship yet. No answer, he straight out left me on read. I have no idea why. The time we spent together was so great and he showed so much interest. Could it be the fact that I didn't want to sleep with him soon? I'm so confused. I will see him at work on Sunday and I plan to treat him normally and friendly like nothing happened. We are 23, but also, I didn't want to sleep with him because I was interested on getting to know him better. I didn't want a casual hookup because I already liked him. And it would hurt me if we hooked up and he left me. So, I think if his intentions at all was to also get to know me better, then he would have waited until I was ready. Am I so wrong for not wanting to sleep together right away? I didn't think my age would be a big deal, that's why I just simplified we are 23. I'm in college where I'm only around guys younger than me. And I do look really young and get along with young people pretty well, so I was just simplifying the situation so you guys could focus on what's the real issue. And I do agree with all the answers, he was just looking for something casual. He dated a girl for 3 years and had been single for 1.5 years, so I do understand why he would want to have a casual thing now. But he told me that this was his first date after his girlfriend dumped him. He told me that our interactions made him feel good and it was an easy flow. I don't know, I gave it a shot because maybe he was into it for real. Apparently, he wasn't, so I'll move on. I'm also a hopeless romantic. I've always been since I was very young. Someone told me because of that I get crushes and let the feelings develop. So, they told me to notice when I'm starting to have a crush on someone to ask them out right away, because then I won't let the feelings develop. So then if things so south it won't bug me too much. What do you think of this advice? Also, I don't do dating app. I find extremely boring to talk to guys I don't even know. I really like to meet someone organically and slowly develop a crush and hope that things will go well. I think that's how people used to meet before my generation. I meant people used to meet without dating apps before my generation. And I mean, even he dated for 3 years at such young age, from 18 to 21. So, I don't think that every guy is afraid of commitment in the early 20s. Right? Again, I'm not going after anyone. I'm literally around younger people than I because of where my life is at this point. I only dated 2 guys since May last year. With both of them I developed a crush as our friendship progressed. I'm not going around chasing for young guys. Also, this last one is balding at 23 and has gray hair. I look younger than him, and I'm only pointing that out to show that I'm not going around chasing for young guys. I just saw him at work right now and we chatted a little bit. I just wanted to show him that I don't feel awkward even though he didn't even reply to my last message when I asked him for clarification of what he wanted. It does sting and my eyes teared up after I talked to him. For the love of God, please someone tell me how I stop myself from having crushes on guys. He's literally the only person I've got a crush on in 10 months. I don't know how not to be like that. I feel so stupid. The thing is, I can count exactly how many crushes I had in the past 3 years and they are from all sort of age. You guys aren't listening when I'm saying I don't go around looking for young guys. First, I got a crush on my college professor, 44. Second, on the math tutor at the college, 46. Third, on another professor, 31. Fourth, my TA, 21. Fifth, my lead, 23. Oh wait, I'm literally now realizing all these guys were in a position of power over me. Oh no, I have a pattern. I'm a 30-year-old who hasn't had slept with anyone in a whole year. To be fair, I didn't go on a date with anyone for 10 months because 1, lockdown. 2, I was going through a heartbreak. I feel like I'm wasting time. I fear so much that I'm wasting my young years without having anything physical. I don't like meeting guys on dating apps, and I only like sleeping together if I'm emotionally attached. I feel so stupid because everyone else is exploring their physical lives and I'm here. I'm legit so sad for that. Let me make a summary. I grew up in a Christian family where I was waiting for the one during my whole adolescence. So I didn't have a boyfriend and didn't have any physical experience because it was considered dirty before marriage. When I was 21, I moved to another country for an exchange program and I loved it there and decided to build my life there. Away from family, my view on things changed. Went on multiple dates but never did anything physically. Dated a guy for 3 months and finally lost my virginity when I was 22. He left after a couple weeks. Met a guy who became my husband for 6 years. Sleeping with him wasn't great because he never wanted to try something new. Didn't let me use toys, etc. He was not all bad, but I was too naive and ignored the red flags. You can see my posts about him. We were literally sleeping together 3 times a year and only because I approached him. Divorced him and after 3 months I met my TA. I asked him out because I saw that he was clearly interested. We dated for 3 months and he finally asked me to be his girlfriend. We had slept together and he left after 2 weeks. It was in the beginning of the lockdown. Spent the whole lockdown alone and going through a heartbreak. I know I didn't spend enough time with the TA, but I loved what we had. That was a connection that I tried to have with my ex-husband for so long. We could talk for hours and forget about time. That's why I had a hard time to let him go. After 7 months I finally forgot about him, and when I did, he came back and invited me to eat ice cream and watch the sunset. At the end of the date, he said he still liked me. I said okay, we can keep hanging out and see where it goes. I wasn't interested on him anymore. I just wanted to see what he was going to do. And then he never contacted me again. And then in January my coworker and I started to flirt and I went ahead and asked him out. 2 perfect dates, but he wasn't looking for a relationship. My ex-husband and I were talking about divorce for a year before I even met the TA. We only later on decided to split. We are still working on the paperwork. He has a girlfriend and they moved in together. He's 38 and she's 21. And we are still friends. My comment, OP needs to calm down on the dating. It seems she doesn't work on herself and just blindly seeks partners randomly. You need to block out the noise and find your inner answer, then you might meet the correct date.